Let's get started. Number 7. You get bored easily. Sitting through a slow meeting feels like intellectual waterboarding, and honestly, that restlessness might be a compliment in disguise. Research on boredom proneness has found a link between high intelligence and a lower tolerance for repetitive, understimulating tasks. Your brain is basically a sports car being forced to idle in a parking lot. It wants complexity, novelty, problems to chew on, and when it doesn't get that, it starts rebelling by making you stare at the ceiling fan like it holds the secrets of the universe. Less stimulated brains are content cruising at a steady pace, but a mind wired for pattern recognition and problem solving starts twitching the moment things get monotonous. That's why smart people often reorganize their sock drawer mid-task or start mentally redesigning the office layout during a status update nobody needed. It's not disrespect, it's your neurons literally begging for something to do. Boredom, in this case, isn't laziness, it's an alarm system telling you that your cognitive engine is underutilized. So the next time you feel like you're about to combust from sheer tedium during a 2-hour call that could have been an email, don't feel guilty. Your brain isn't broken, it's just allergic to wasted potential. Number 6. You feel everything intensely. You watch a car commercial and somehow end up emotionally wrecked because the dog in the background looked briefly lonely. That intensity isn't oversensitivity for the sake of drama. It's often linked to something called overexcitability, a trait more common in highly intelligent and gifted individuals. Researchers studying gifted populations have noted heightened emotional, sensory, and imaginative responses, meaning your brain doesn't just process information, it processes it loudly. Colors feel more vivid, music hits harder, and other people's pain registers almost like it's happening to you. This is exhausting, sure, but it's also tied to deeper empathy and richer imaginative thinking, both of which are seriously undervalued cognitive skills. While some brains skim past emotional nuance like it's background noise, yours zooms in and analyzes every flicker of it. That's why you remember exact conversations from years ago, replaying tone and word choice like forensic evidence. It's less being dramatic and more running high-resolution emotional processing on a system everyone else has set to standard definition. So next time someone tells you that you're too much, just remember, you're not malfunctioning, you're just operating with better graphics. Number 5. You overthink text messages. You type out a 3-word reply, delete it, retype it, add a period, remove the period, because now it looks passive-aggressive, and finally send okay like you didn't just run a psychological hostage negotiation with yourself. Congratulations, that spiral is not anxiety cosplay, it's your brain doing high-level social simulation. Smarter brains tend to model other people's reactions before committing to an action, basically running a mental focus group for every text you send. Psychologists call this theory of mind, which is your ability to imagine what's happening inside someone else's head. Most people do this a little. Overthinkers do it like they're defusing a bomb. The catch is that this skill, when cranked up too high, feels less like intelligence and more like a curse you didn't ask for. But here's the twist. Research on cognitive load shows that people who consider multiple interpretations of ambiguous input, like a text with no emoji, tend to score higher on tests of verbal reasoning. Your friend who replies, K isn't at peace, they're just not running the simulation, you are. So next time you spend 11 minutes on a text about pizza toppings, don't feel embarrassed. Your brain is just doing unpaid analytics work nobody asked for, and honestly, it deserves a raise, not a diagnosis. Number 4. You question your own beliefs. Most people defend their opinions like they're guarding a bank vault, but you actually stop mid-argument and think, wait, am I wrong here? That's rare, and it's a strong indicator of cognitive humility, a trait closely tied to higher intelligence. Psychological research on intellectual humility shows that people who are willing to revise their beliefs when presented with new evidence tend to reason more accurately and make better decisions overall. Meanwhile, plenty of people treat changing their mind like a personal defeat, doubling down purely out of ego. Your brain doesn't care about winning, it cares about being accurate, which honestly sounds noble until you realize it just means you argue with yourself constantly. You'll be mid-rant about something and suddenly pause because a counterpoint you hadn't considered just crashed the party uninvited. That internal audit system is inconvenient in debates, but incredibly valuable in reality, because reality doesn't care how confident you sound, it cares whether you're right. So if you've ever quietly abandoned an opinion because new information made more sense, you didn't lose the argument. You upgraded your software while everyone else is still running on outdated beliefs from 2013. Number 3. You laugh at weird things. Something mildly absurd happens. like a pigeon aggressively judging you at a bus stop, and you burst out laughing while everyone else just stares blankly. That reaction isn't randomness, it's your brain doing rapid pattern recognition and spotting an unexpected connection faster than everyone around you. Humor, especially the kind that comes from noticing irony or absurdity in ordinary situations, relies heavily on cognitive flexibility, which is your brain's ability to jump between ideas and find surprising links. Studies on humor and intelligence have found associations between quick, spontaneous wit and higher verbal and abstract reasoning skills. Basically, a good joke is a tiny puzzle, and your brain solving it instantly is a flex, not a distraction. Meanwhile, other people need the pigeon to literally steal a sandwich before they register anything funny happened. Dry, clever humor especially requires layering. You have to understand the literal meaning, the implied meaning, and the gap between them, all in about half a second. That's a lot of mental gymnastics disguised as a chuckle, so when you're the only one laughing at a subtle, weird observation in a group of confused faces, that's not awkward, that's your brain finishing a mental crossword puzzle before anyone else even picked up the pencil. Number 2. You procrastinate on purpose. Weirdly enough, waiting until the last possible second to start a project isn't always self-sabotage. Sometimes it's a strategy your brain is running without asking permission. Some research on active procrastination suggests that certain people delay tasks intentionally because their brains actually perform better under acute pressure, generating more creative and flexible solutions than they would with excess planning time. Basically, your brain treats deadlines like a starting gun, and calm advance planning like an unnecessary appetizer. This isn't true for everyone. Chronic avoidance is a different beast entirely, but for a specific type of high performer, that adrenaline-fueled sprint at 11 p.m. actually sharpens focus and cuts out the mental noise that clutters early attempts. It's like your brain refuses to take a problem seriously until it smells a real consequence. So while everyone panics watching you start the presentation 4 hours before it's due, your brain is quietly assembling the pieces it's been subconsciously prepping for days. It's reckless, it's stressful, and it absolutely should not be recommended in any productivity seminar. But for some minds, pressure isn't the enemy of clarity, it's the ignition switch. Number 1. You prefer being alone sometimes. You cancel plans not because you hate people, but because your brain is craving something like emotional Wi-Fi with no interruptions. That preference for solitude isn't antisocial behavior, it's often linked to higher intelligence and a need for deeper, uninterrupted thinking. Research from evolutionary psychology suggests that more intelligent individuals report lower life satisfaction when they socialize frequently, especially in large groups, likely because their minds are wired to pursue long-term goals and complex problem-solving rather than constant social interaction. Basically, your brain treats small talk like static interference disrupting an important broadcast. While other people recharge by being surrounded by friends, you recharge by finally getting 5 minutes of silence to think in full sentences again. This doesn't mean you dislike people. It means your cognitive engine runs more efficiently without constant social multitasking, pulling focus in 6 directions. So when you decline an invite to sit at home, rearranging your thoughts like furniture, that's not isolation, that's maintenance. Your brain simply prefers deep, quiet processing over shallow, loud interaction, and honestly, that's less lonely introvert and more high-performance system requiring a private server. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe.